today's live stream, I am going to be talking about the money inner work that we need to be doing in order to hold the manifestations that we are currently attracting. Because unless you can hold your desires energetically, you're going to be unconsciously repelling them. And a lot of people, they'll be asking for things, they'll be asking for their desire, they'll be thinking, where is it? But the truth is that if they was to actually receive their desires right now, they would immediately not be able to hold them, and they would therefore then self-sabotage without realizing about it. So here's the inner work. This is going to include the shadow work and also the light work in order to become that money magnet and make sure that you're an attraction, make sure you're an energetic match for wealth. So this is how you're going to this is how you're going to know if you're a magnet or if you are repelling your desires. The first thing is, can you energetically hold abundance? Abundance being a huge umbrella term for everything that we want. Abundance being money, an abundance of love, whatever it is you're trying to manifest in your life, you're trying to manifest abundance. So can you energetically hold that abundance? Where can you not receive and where can you receive? I'm gonna put my notes here so I can see them a little bit better. So I'm going to go over some examples of this and tell me if you can relate in the live chat comments. So the first one is, do you actually have the energy and time to hold your desire? If you're trying to manifest a brand new business, are you still spending all of your week on the old one? If you are trying to manifest sales in your coaching business or whatever service-based business that you have, do you actually have time to cater to those clients? Do you have the online digital products available already to manifest for that money to come through? Do you have the avenue set up already? Do you have a business bank account already? Do you have the ability to handle the taxes if you was to double your income right now? Would that stress you out? If that would stress you out and if it actually scares you, and you journal on it and realize that you're actually scared of holding that higher amount of money, then that shows you the things that you need to work on, the energetic blocks that you need to remove before that desire can actually come to you. For example, do you have the energy? If you actually attracted what it was that you want right now, do you have the energy to be able to cater to having that? Say you're trying to manifest a house right now. Can you have the house that you're in right now and also the new house? Or are you gonna need to do something about the house that you're currently in right now or make yourself energetically available to the new house? It's also like if you've got a 9-to-5 job right now and you want to manifest a business, have you got the time after your work to actually cater to that business or that YouTube channel? Another one that's a good sign of if you're able to receive abundance or not is actually, can you receive a compliment or do you bounce it back to the other person? If they say to you, hey, oh my god, your skin is glowing, and you turn around and you say, oh no, it's nothing, it's just like oil, I'm just sweating, like your skin is so nice, I love your skin. There you didn't receive the compliment. You actually bounced back that energy and pushed it straight back to them. So how, if you can't even receive a positive compliment, how are you going to receive the thing of your desire? How are you going to receive that abundance, that energy of your desire, if you can't even receive the energy, the positive energy that comes from just a compliment, right? That's how you know already that you're already a bit blocked off. Another way of knowing if you're blocked off to abundance energetically is, can you receive someone buying you something or getting the bill, or do you immediately put your card down, no, I'll get it, Or someone gives you a gift and you genuinely feel bad and you feel like you need to do something for them because you're indebted to them. Let me lean back a little bit here. Do you feel like you're indebted to them? Or do you feel like you then need to buy them a gift? Do you feel bad, right? Can you allow someone to buy you something or buy something, get the bill for you, pay for something for you? Or do you feel bad? See, that's coming from a lack frequency. If you feel bad, or if you instantly, you know, reject the gift, reject anything being good for you, then you need to also work on that block, the energetic block that you have. This might be increasing your self-worth. It might be doing all sorts of shadow work to realize, why do I not think that I deserve to receive this lovely thing? And then when you start doing that kind of shadow work, you'll realize that you're actually blocking off abundance in many areas of your life, if you actually are. Another example, oh my gosh, I already gave the last example. It was the gift. Do you feel bad if you get a gift? So you see how there's so many ways. Do you actually have the energetic room in your life for the desire? Do you have the time in your life? Or do you reject small things, small manifestations? Here's an example again. If you find money on the floor, are you like, oh my gosh, I am an abundant being, like, wow, thank you so much, universe? Or are you like, I'm trying to manifest like a 10 grand pay raise though, and like the universe just gives me a fiver, like what? Or are you the type of person to completely reject that £5 and then you come up to someone else and you're like, hey, you want a fiver? Mum, here you go, here's some money. Or like, partner, here's some money. Like, I don't want it. I don't want it. Even if it's coming from like a really generous point, like, yeah, I want to give this to you. Why do you not feel like you deserve it? Why do you feel like they need it or deserve it more than you? So this can be a shadow hiding in the darkness, right? You think you're being nice to someone, like buying, like constantly spending money on people or giving people gifts, and realizing actually you think that you're being good and generous and on a high vibe, but you're neglecting yourself. How can you pour into someone from an empty cup, right? So the second one is, how do you react to abundance? How do you react when you see abundance or you see someone with your desire in the streets? How do you react when you see that? Do you have some sort of emotional reaction in your body? Is it a positive reaction, or is it a negative or a neutral reaction? Or does your mind immediately make you turn away because you can't stand it, like it makes you feel a bit funny? If you feel yourself instantly looking away when you see someone with your desire, catch yourself in the moment and be like, why am I looking away? Why am I avoiding this? And then if you really look deep down, you might actually be sort of like thinking, I'm kind of uncomfortable right now, right? I am uncomfortable. Why? Because I just don't feel like I can have this yet. I don't feel like I deserve it. I don't feel like it's possible for me. Amazing. If you can start realizing that, that is amazing. Hi in the chat as well. Hello. So if you see someone, for example, right, this is an example of abundance. So if you see things that have costed more than the average, shall we say, to avoid the word that begins with E, right? Say you see someone with a designer bag in the street and you're very much into fashion. Do you instantly think, is that bag fake? Are you looking for the logo? Are you looking for the handle or the metalwork engraving? I used to do this, right? I used to, like, even in school, oh my gosh, does anyone remember Paul's Boutique? If you're my age, right, I'm 26, I have to think about that now because the time's going so fast, but does anyone remember Paul's Boutique? If you're in the UK, I don't know if it made it to America, but Paul's Boutique, right, the handbags were like £60, which in nowadays money is obviously not a lot of money, but for like 12-year-old me, Paul's Boutique bag was like all I wanted for Christmas. A Paul's Boutique bag, right, for 60 quid. Like, I remember people used to think that like £20 River Island bags were a lot, right? So me and my friend in school, when we were in our teenage years, we always used to see other people's Paul's Boutique bags, and we always used to look immediately, is that a fake PB bag or is it not? Oh, look at that PB bag, like that's a new design. Like we always used to be like criticizing almost from, I want to say, from a good place. Like I loved PB bags so much, but I was so interested in them, but I didn't realize it at the time, but I was actually criticizing because I was looking to see, is that a real bag or is it not a real bag? Coming from a place of interest, but also probably because I almost felt like no one else could have all of the bags because I wanted those bags. Like I wanted 10 PB bags, do you know what I mean? And so if someone else had one, I'd be like, oh, have they got one? Like, could they afford one? Has their mum got them a bag and I haven't got it? Do you know what I mean? And sometimes we don't realise we're actually doing this, but even just a couple of years ago, I remember I bought a fake designer bag at the time, and I kind of caught myself looking at other people that had that exact same bag as me in the streets, or when I'd go to London, obviously where there's a lot of designer bags, when I'd go out shopping maybe and I'd see that exact bag that I've got and I'd be like, I remember looking at it initially and instantly looking to see if there was a logo on it or if there was like the logo on the metalwork, instantly seeing if I could see if it was fake or not. And then I'm thinking about it, and now I started to catch myself and I was like, why am I looking if it's fake or not? Why can't I just analyze the bag? And then I was like, oh my god, it's because I have a fake one at home. How can someone have a real one? I've got a fake one at home, right? Again, it wasn't coming from a bad place, but it was more so coming from my insecurities. I probably I could buy the bag if I wanted to, but it was definitely out of my means. I would be using up a lot of my savings if I was to buy this exact designer bag. So I probably could afford it, but it was just out of my means. It would make complete no sense because I was trying to buy a house at the time. So technically I couldn't afford it. And obviously this was my shadow playing a role there. So where in your life do you see yourself almost analysing other people for what they have if they've got what you want? Or if they've got some kind of abundance? Even if it's like a partner, right? Are you looking to see if they're in a good relationship or not? Or are you looking them up and down and thinking, oh, like, yeah, they look great in public, but I bet they argue when they're at home? Again, it's not coming from a bad place. You don't actually hate them, or you don't want to, like, you wouldn't actually be mean to them. But again, it's just coming from this place of like lack of belief in yourself, this sort of little bit of insecurity, right? And the one thing I always say now that I haven't said in videos is that a lot of these things, a lot of problems of ours actually come from a lack of self-love. And even if we think we love ourselves, right now I'm working on self-love, right? My inner work journey, my shadow work journey has been going on for so much in depth since the beginning of this year, and it's only recently that I've been like, oh my god, I actually need to work on self-love, because self-love causes self-belief, self-love causes self-worth, self-worth causes self-belief, and when you can believe in yourself, you can achieve anything. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't have a high vibration and you're not detached. And what does that cause? It causes the manifestation triangle, frequency, detachment, and what do I always forget the third thing? Frequency, detachment, and belief that I just literally said. How did I forget that? And belief, frequency, detachment, and belief. If you don't have one of them, all three of them are gone. So working on self-love in the very beginning causes you to have self-love causes you to have self-worth, and self-worth causes you to believe. When you believe in yourself, you have a high frequency, you know you can get it. Everything in your reality starts in your mind. We all know this. Our mind creates our reality. So within, so without. That we need to be focused on us. Like, blank out the world, focus on us for a year or two. The amount of people that I have, without realizing it, kind of pushed out of my life, or they've dropped off by themselves this year. I literally hang out with myself all the time, and my partner Aaron, and our families. That's it. Those are my friends, because I just haven't thought about anyone else right now, right? That is the inner work journey. And when you start focusing on self-love, you see where everyone has been not giving you enough. Because if you didn't give yourself enough self-love before, then obviously they're not going to give you the self-love. You have to show them how to treat you. If someone comes into your life, and I know this is kind of going off topic a little bit, but it needs to be said, if someone's treated you badly in your life, the only person you can blame is yourself, because you showed them how to treat you. So you can't blame them for treating you how you treat you, right? Because if you'd have put that energetic boundary or that verbal boundary in place, they wouldn't have even gone there in the first place. What you'll realize is some people, they kind of poke at you, and if you don't respond in the moment and kind of push it back to them, bounce it back off them, they will poke at you more and more and more and more and more. Which is why if you've had a job before and your boss always used to come to you with the tasks at hand, and you're like, why do I have to do all the work and not anyone else? It's because you've said yes to the smallest things, so then you say yes to a bigger thing, and then they ask for more and more and more and more. And until you say no, they will keep coming to you. Both of my parents suffer with this. They've said before, I get all the tasks at work. My dad says, I get all the tasks at work. Because yes, they are sort of like, my mum's a nurse and my dad works in a factory basically. They're not like super prestigious jobs, but they're like managerial jobs, and everyone comes to them. And I know now it's because they're both people pleasers, right? So everyone comes to them because they're a people pleaser. You said, when did I start getting into manifestation? It was actually in 2019, because I got out my books I started learning manifestation in 2019. I wrote down so much stuff. It was when I was halfway through university and I realized that I didn't want to be a nurse. And that was because of videos on YouTube about like the life that you could have, and I was like, yeah, I want that life. And the manifestation kind of just dropped in, and ever since then I've manifested leaving uni, going to a job, having multiple businesses, and then starting this last business that I have, going self-employed a year after university. So many things. If you guys want like a whole backstory, that's fine. I can give it. But yeah, 2019 for manifestation. So yeah, that, going back to what I was saying about the designer bag, do you look to see if it's fake, or do you think, oh, I wonder if they bought it themselves, or if it's a nice car? Oh my god. If, another example, if you see a nice car, do you think, I've heard so many people say this, oh, that's a rented car, I bet it's rented. Oh, I bet it's on finance though. And again, they're not coming from a bad place. They don't realize that they're even saying it. It's just that they almost can't comprehend. Their ego doesn't want to believe that that person bought it authentically by themselves, in cash, not rented, not finance, because that means that someone else has something that they haven't yet had, or someone else has something that they don't think they can actually achieve. And again, it's not if you're a bad person, it's not the fact that you're a bully, nothing like that. It's just your ego, it tries to protect itself. And if you see someone with something that's more than what you have, automatically your ego sees that as, it gets defensive, because it's like, oh my god, I can't allow myself to feel less than. And the only thing that ego tries to help us do, it's always in the best interest for us, is it wants to keep you safe and secure, and it wants to feel loved. That's all we want as human beings on a very deep level. And the interesting thing is that if you journal enough about what you want, it will always, especially if you're a woman, you will always go back to being safe and secure. So for example, my manifestation was, I wanted a successful business, right? This is all I've wanted for years, until recently when I realized that it wasn't all about what I thought it was about. And all that I wanted was a successful business. So I was manifesting a successful business. I was manifesting 10, 20, 30, 50k months. And then when I got them in my business, I was like, but I'm still not living my dream life. So what is it that I'm missing here? Like, what's going on? And I journaled every week. Every week I was journaling, what do I want next? What's next? Because this thing I've just manifested and achieved, it hasn't gave me the feeling that I wanted, which I realized was fulfillment, happiness, peace, all of those things, right? We don't actually want a lot, right? We just want to be happy and peaceful and safe, like. And I kept journaling, what do I want? What do I want? And I was coming up with all of these things, and I eventually landed on freedom, and it stuck as freedom to today. I was like, I want a successful business. Why? Because it will give me money. What will money give me? Money will give me freedom. It will give me time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom. It will give me freedom in all the main ways that I want. Why do I want freedom? Because if I have freedom, ultimately I will feel safe and I'll feel secure. Because if I have financial freedom, it means I could buy whatever I want. I'm safe. I've never got to rely on anyone again. I'm secure because I can do what I want. I've provided for myself. No one needs to do it for me. So whatever it is that you want right now, it will relate back to feeling safe and secure. And also feeling loved, because that's another big one as well if you're manifesting love. You want to feel safe, secure and loved. Essentially everything you felt as a baby, but you've lost over the years because society has kind of picked you apart bit by bit, right? And as kids, we take on everything as truth from people. So our innate ability to feel safe, secure, loving ourselves, as people say things throughout their lives, we kind of doubt ourselves more and more. And then like all of these innate feelings of goodness, fulfillment, love, they get taken away from us very slowly, right? And this happens to everyone, so you don't have to be like depressed or anything to feel like this. Another example is maybe if you so if you want a house and you're the kind of person to drive through the neighborhoods and look at the houses on purpose to help with your manifestation, as I've recommended before, initially when you see those houses, do you think differently of those houses based on the day? Or if you look at your vision board, okay? So if you don't physically look at the house, if you look at your vision board, you'll find that every day you have a different energy. Every day you have a different mood. Do you find yourself with a more positive outlook or a more negative outlook or neutral on different days that you look at your vision board or you look at your goals? Most of the time we will, right? So what I want you to pay attention to for your shadow work is on those more neutral or negative days, what are you feeling when you look at that vision board? What are you feeling when you look at that house? Initially when you look at it, you know, if you wake up on a bad day and you're like, ugh, I don't have the energy today, or I had a bad dream, and you look at your vision board and you kind of like go, whatever. Like you don't really think anything of it, but you just rolled your eyes and you ignored it. You didn't allow it to activate you. You didn't allow it to make you feel good. You literally just went, ugh, and then you went to the toilet, right? If it's in like your bedroom. What did you feel like? The shadow work is looking into yourself in that moment. The shadow work is doing the work that's uncomfortable. The light work is the paid to exist work, right? I'll be talking about this in paid to exist, which is the new course that's coming up, right? The light work is like, oh, what do I already have? Like, I'm going to bring out the goddess in me and everything, which again is everything in that course. But the shadow work is looking inside of you, the uncomfortableness, the unresolved emotions that are stuck deep down in you. Exploring yourself when you feel those negative emotions. When you looked at your vision board and you rolled your eyes, what did you think in that moment? What was going on in your brain before your ego distracted you and immediately blocked you from seeing it and feeling anything bad? That is the shadow work that people ignore. You cannot do the light work, uncovering the inner goddess and shining the light on your unique talents, building the successful business, if you ignore the parts of you that are sabotaging you. Because they are sabotaging you. All our ego wants is to keep us safe and secure, which means well for the ego, means well for our survival, but it has no interest in stretching your elastic band and making you a millionaire, because that would not mean that you're safe and secure to your ego, because it's something different. It puts you out of your comfort zone. It makes you stand out in society. These are all things that are unsafe to the human being, like on an innate level. You don't want to stand out, because that would get you killed in the old days. You don't want to become a millionaire because you feel like it would make people hate you, and people would say that you've changed or you're greedy. You don't want to feel any of these things. Your ego doesn't want you to stand out. It wants to keep you safe and secure. It has your best interest at heart on a survival level, but not in terms of this modern society. So you have to pay attention to those shadows. You have to pay attention to that ego, because it is sabotaging you if you don't realize it. It will make that rubber band, when you start to get the rubber band stretching, you start standing out, you start showing the world your unique self, your unique personality, you start earning more money, your ego will be like, oh my god, this is so uncomfortable, I can't handle it, and then you sabotage, and then you're like, what happened? Like, what happened? It's because you haven't done the shadow work. So yes, you might almost get your manifestation. You might get your manifestation, and then it instantly gets taken away from you. Maybe you manifest £1,000, £10,000. The next year it's gone, and you're like, where did it go? I don't know where it went. It just poof, gone out my bank. It's because you manifested it through the light work, but your shadows, too safe, too unsafe, bye bye. This does not reflect what I know. Like, people win the lottery, right? They are so ingrained in lack and credit card debt and not being able to buy food, that when they get millions of pounds, their ego's like, oh my god, this is so scary, I hate this, like, what, like, people are gonna hate me now. Like, they haven't done the shadow work to realize that nobody cares. They're like, this is so uncomfortable, I'm gonna spend it all, get rid of it, and then statistics, 5 years time, they're broke again. That's what statistics show. That's what happens. Your ego wants to keep you safe, secure. It wants to go back to comfort. It hates the uncomfortableness. You have to pay attention to the discomfortable feelings. Another thing that I did the other day to pay attention to the shadow side of myself was I went to Japan earlier on in the year, and I one day I just felt really sad for no reason. I was on a bike ride with Aaron, and we was in the middle of literally nowhere in Okinawa, this island, and I thought that it was because we was in the middle of the nowhere that I felt sad, because I felt lonely almost, right? And I was like, why do I feel like this? In the moment, I was just really sad. And then Aaron was like, what would make you good right now? And I was like, you know, I just want an energy drink. Like, get me the caffeine hit. Do you know what I mean? Get me the cheap dopamine, right? And now realizing back to it, I should have explored that feeling of sadness, because being in the nothingness of that island, remote island already, off Japan, not even mainland Japan, then in a remote area of the remote island, like, there was physically no one around us. That made me so, like, it was just almost like all as I could feel was myself, because there was no stimulation, there was no madness, you couldn't escape it. It was just silence, and it really shone a light on this inner sadness and emptiness that I had in myself at the beginning of this year. And again, I hated the feeling, and I instantly had caffeine. Caffeine made me feel good. It was great. Caffeine hit, boom, gone, right? And I had the energy again. But that's what we do when we're trying to hide the sad feelings. That's where addictions come from. And now, realizing back to it, I should have sat there in that moment and thought, oh my gosh, this is the perfect opportunity to do inner work, to do the shadow work. Why am I feeling like this? Sad. I should have pulled out a journal and thought, I feel sad. Why do I feel sad? I feel empty. Oh, I actually feel a bit lonely, right? Why do I feel lonely right now? Like, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Exploring these feelings in a journal. That's what I should have done. And I'd have probably got to the core of my truest desires and all of these business if I'd have done that inner work at the time. But a lot of the time, the ego, it just blocks it off, like, bye, I don't want these I don't want these horrible feelings. And I actually started to cry on that day. I was like, oh my god, I just don't know what's going on. Like, I'm just crying. And again, crying is emotional release. So something had come up and it wanted to come out. The sadness wanted to come out. I started to cry and I rejected it. I was like, no, energy drink come my way. I had a monster. And then the emotions got repressed. They got pushed down more. And what happens after a while when you push down feelings like sadness is it turns into anger. So I was always that person that would snap. I would let people push me. I would get so angry, but I couldn't stand up for myself. It was like I just couldn't say, I didn't know what to say, when to say it. And they'd push me to a point where I'd literally just snap. And in that moment, I wasn't actually snapping at them. I was snapping at myself. And all of the other times that I didn't stand up for myself, all of the times that I'd let things be bottled inside of me, they would come out in that moment, and then I would overreact because it wasn't just that situation that was I was reacting to. It was all the other ones that had just all come out at once, right? Or if I started crying, I couldn't stop. Like, even just if I was having an argument with someone, I'd be like, oh my god, this is so not this deep. Like, why am I crying so much? It's because I've allowed it to actually come out. And now I realize that this is actually emotional release. So now I purposely think of things that have affected me in my life, and I purposely let the emotions come up. And I ask myself, do I really need to be holding on to this emotion? And I let myself feel and I let it come out. These are all the things I'm going to talk about in Paid to Exist, by the way. So the shadow work, the light work to unleash the inner goddess so that you can get paid to exist. You've got the energetic room, the energetic boundaries in place that you can make room and become paid to exist, right? Become a magnet for the money. These are all the things I'm going to go into. Emotional release, all of the shadow work, everything. Because guys, the videos are already long. I cannot go into it in so much detail. But anyways, I'm going to continue on. This is the last point now. So the last point of becoming an energetic match for wealth and realizing what inner work you need to do in order to attract money. The last one is going to be your language and others that use it. This is something I talk about a lot. So I'm going to make it quick because you guys probably know what I'm going to say, but it's something that's also really important. You're not an energetic match for your desire or for wealth if you are actively using language or vocabulary without realizing it, because it's a shadow that actually repels it or assists with a lack frequency or your disbelief. So for example, when you look at that house, do you think, oh, maybe one day? If you think maybe one day, then you're not on the frequency of the manifestation, you're on the lack frequency. Those words, even if you didn't say them out loud, are still thoughts in your mind that still cause emotions, that still cause you to manifest that same situation that you're in over and over. If you have a thought and it activates a feeling, feelings have emotions. Feelings are emotions and emotions are energy. Energy in motion is an emotion running through your body. So anything that you say in your mind out loud, a lot of the time you'll listen to yourself out loud and you'll be like, yeah, I don't use those words. But you listen to your mind and you're using those words without realizing it. But it's worse because you're saying it to yourself. The only person that can hear is your subconscious, and your subconscious is the one that runs the show. So even if you're saying it to yourself, that's just as bad as saying it out loud, especially if it causes emotions. So are you saying, really possible for me? That person has have it. But it's a little bit expensive, don't you think? Oh, when did the price of this go up? Oh, that's crazy. Like petrol, diesel, whatever, it was like £10 last year and now it's £12. And these are things that a lot of people do talk about in everyday life. My mum, oh my gosh, my mum, she will complain about things, and sometimes I will have to energetically like shut myself off in the moment, because a lot of the time, like, I'm not gonna cut out my mum just because she complains about things sometimes. I will find myself getting annoyed, and then I'm like, why am I getting annoyed? Oh my gosh, I should be completely energetically blocked off to this. Why am I letting this get to me? Like, I've got some shadow work I still need to do right now, because I should be just completely neutral. The energetic wall is there. So if I let myself get angry because my mum is complaining about something, then that's showing something that I need to work on right then. That's showing where my emotional intelligence is not fully evolved yet. So I'm grateful in the moment. And again, you've got to listen to yourself. If you're distancing yourself from certain people, is it because they're activating you? They're activating these negative emotions in you, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be around them. They make me feel so bad. Or is it because you genuinely just don't wish to be around them anymore because you don't share anything in common with them anymore? If you're getting rid of them because of this reason, because they're activating you negatively, that's the wrong reason to get rid of someone, because you're still running away from your shadows. Like, if I was to decide that I didn't want to hang around with my mum as much anymore because she complains and it makes me angry, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to be around her anymore, she makes me angry. That would be me. That would be like my problem then, right? I should never be distancing myself from someone if they're still activating me, because that's the shadow work that you need to be doing. You shouldn't be running away from that. If this was a friend of mine and not my literal mother that I'm not gonna get rid of just because she's just the way she is. If it was a friend, on the other hand, completely optional. Like, I will get rid of them in a heartbeat. If that was a friend that was just completely, obviously with my mum, she gives me so much love that it doesn't matter that she complains, right? A friend cannot give you the love that a mother can give you. So automatically, if they're complaining around me and I'm neutral, I've done the shadow work to be neutral, at that point there's no reason for me to be around them. They don't give me love and attention and all these other things and protection and whatever that your parents might give you. So therefore the friend is just, you don't need them. You can get rid of them at that rate, right? But you got to pay attention to why you're distancing yourself. Is it to hide from your shadows, to let your shadows win? Or is it actually for the greater good? Because you need to do that. So who around you or you do you say that I can't afford things, or do other people say I can't afford things? I used to have a friend that always used to message me and be like, hey, how are you? Right. And although this is kind of related to the language, but kind of also just their energy. So my friend would be like, how are you? And I'm like, yeah, cool, great, doing really good. How are you? Then when I redirected it back to her, and I would ask her, how are you? She would be like, oh my God, yeah, like the kids, like this, my job, like da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. And I'd be genuinely interested because I'm a friend, right? And I'm like, okay, well, when did this happen? Like, oh my God. And I realized that this was a massive energetic leak for me, because although I was interested and intrigued in what was going on in her life, I was giving her all of my energy. And then she would only come to me and message me when she wanted to completely go off the rails, essentially, right? And then I would never get anything in return, and all as I would get is the negative language, the complaining and everything. And I thought that, like, that was me being a good friend. And then I'd be left like, why does she not care about me? Do you know what I'm saying here? So being around others, the language that they use, pay attention to why people talk to you, all of these things. So to go over the 3 again, number 1, can you energetically hold abundance? How do you react to abundance? And number 3, what language do you use, and what language do others use around you? These 3 things are the things that are gonna start you off on getting to know if you are putting up an energetic wall to receiving, or if you're actually completely open to receiving, because I believe that every single one of us, every single one of us has some sort of wall up to receiving on an energetic level. A lot of the time it's a natural wall. Like if you're physically manifesting a new house, you can't just get rid of your old one and live on the streets and make room for the new one, right? But there's still a wall there, whether it's this tall, whether it's this tall, you're still going to have some sort of energetic wall up for whatever manifestation you're going to have. It's just trying to lower that wall as much as possible. But if you're trying to manifest more money in your life, you really need to look at where can I hold this money if it comes to me? Can I hold these clients if they come to me? If I've got, if you're teaching a language, say you're a language teacher, and you charge £500 for a semester or a term to teach a student, and you want to earn 100k a month, are you gonna can you hold physically that many students? I'm not gonna do the maths right now, but that's a lot of students. If you want to earn 100k a month, that's a lot of students. So are you asking for more than you can receive right now? In which case you need to be reflecting and doing the shadow work and thinking, I physically don't have the energetic space for this manifestation. It's never going to come to me because I don't have the space to hold it. So therefore, I need to think of a way that I can sell something passively, or I need to increase my prices so that I can receive that 100k a month from my clients. That's what you need to be thinking. And that's sort of the logical masculine side of manifesting. And then once that's all in place, and you know you can physically hold the manifestation that you're trying to manifest, then that'll be when it starts to come in. Then you can sit in your feminine receiving energy and be like, come to me when you're ready. Because you know you can hold it when it comes, and you're not going to sabotage it when it actually does come. So I hope that helped. That's pretty much everything that I wanted to say. As I said before, this is all going to be in Paid to Exist. I don't know when it'll be out, but it'll all be in there in super detail. These are just the 3 most basic things that you can look out for in terms of money in a work attraction. But yeah, hope you like the video. I can't even remember how to end the live stream anymore, but I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream. And if you have any questions after the live stream ends, just drop them in the comments down below and I'll reply to them. So yeah, have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!